up and comer that's exciting right now. And I'm not into gambling my legacy for what's exciting.
And John, if you're not into gambling your legacy, that to me sounds like you're scared of losing against me.
After a long period of waiting, Tom Aspinall is taking things differently and humiliated Jon Jones live on the Piers Morgan Show. This isn't something that happens every day, especially not for Aspinall. But now he's trying to get Jon Jones into the ring through another route. But that's not all he has to say. So let's dive in.
So I'm challenging him to a fight. And I'm a little bit disappointed that Jon, as the great champion that he is, doesn't want to give other guys that opportunity when someone's breathing down his neck. Because that's the first thing that most champions would do, is like, right, this guy wants it, I'm going to put him in his place.
Tom Aspinall, the rising heavyweight star known for his explosive finishes and relentless pace, has set his sights on Jon Jones. The British star hasn't fought since knocking out Curtis Blades in 2024, and he's keen to face Bones, who many believe is the greatest fighter of all time. However, Jones has consistently downplayed Aspinall's exploits and doesn't appear to want to face the man who has won every single one of his UFC fights by finish.
And if he thinks I don't deserve it, show me that I don't deserve it. Show me. Sweet, mate. If you kick my ass in front of the whole world, I'm happy to put my hand out and go, listen, you're the better man. No problem. You took my dreams away from me, but at least I tried.
It seems likely that if Aspinall doesn't fight Jones, the American will retire from the sport without any other major matchups for him, other than Alex Pereira, who lost his last outing. This means he would therefore be stripped of the heavyweight title. Tom Aspinall is adamant that Jon Jones doesn't qualify for the MMA GOAT debate. Bones has long been recognized as the best UFC fighter of all time, if not in MMA. However, his inclusion in the GOAT debate has been clouded by a slew of incidents, both inside and outside the octagon. Sitting down with Piers Morgan Uncensored, Aspinall was asked about his opinion on Jones.
I completely agree with the notion that he's one of the best fighters ever.
Is he the greatest?
Potentially, but the way that I look at it is he has failed a couple of drug tests. To me, that rules you out of being the best of all time.
Really?
For me personally, yeah, I think.
Does it make him a cheat?
Yeah, of course it does.
Aspinall is concerned about Jones's history of PED-related suspensions, which raises questions about whether he is the greatest.
Yeah. If you're on steroids or whatever, I don't think he was on steroids, but he was on PEDs, performance-enhancing drugs. If you're on PEDs and your opponent isn't, that's absolutely cheating in my book, unless you're both allowed to do it.
You've never taken anything like that?
Absolutely not.
You never would?
When I retire, I will, yeah.
In an interview with Logan Paul, Aspinall also claims that Jones has been ducking him and that he's delaying the situation, putting pressure on Jones.
Like I say, the problem isn't with Jon. The problem is the fact that he's sitting on the belt and not doing anything. So I think that, to answer your question, I want to be known as the guy at heavyweight, or at least have a shot. Just give me a shot. Give me the opportunity to do it. And I think I can do it.
The interim UFC heavyweight champion is eager to unify the heavyweight title with Jon Jones. He feels that the fight is desired by fans, the UFC, and the public. Aspinall has even stated that the fight is massive, and that if Jones isn't interested, he doesn't know what else can be done to make it happen. For Jones, it's different. Jones thinks that Aspinall should fight more champions.
He won an interim championship against Sergey, and Sergey just got murdered his last fight. So it's like you're beating guys who aren't even champions, and you consider yourself a champion. He's not a champion.
Tom Aspinall didn't let that go as he counters Jones with this statement.
Don't be surprised that this guy always takes fights where he's at the advantage. And that's not me getting at Jon. These are the facts of it. Jon's a very touchy guy, and he likes to, like I say, he likes to be smart about his approach and control the narrative of fans by saying he's the GOAT, which he's definitely got a case for, by saying that, oh, this guy, Tom Aspinall's a nobody. Well, mate, I'm a nobody who has a number one ranking and has finished 5 of the top 10 guys in the first round. Like,
This situation has led many fans, including Aspinall, to say Jones is ducking and avoiding a fight with the Englishman. However, Jones responded to these claims in an Instagram Live video. While in Thailand, Jones took to Instagram Live to check in with his fans, letting them know what he's up to. While on Live, Jones was riding a moped through the streets of Thailand, riding on the sidewalk and filming while he was driving. However, the fans' reaction may not have been what the UFC heavyweight champion expected, as the live chat was packed with supporters calling him a duck and sending duck emojis.
I got people in the chat calling me a duck. Meanwhile, I'm living my absolute best life. I don't know if it's considered ducking when you're living good. I don't think it works like that.
In addition, Jones talks about how the Tom fans are annoying, seemingly toying with them.
I see quite a few people in here calling me a duck. I'm a duck. Call me a duck. Call me a chicken. Call me a goat. Call me a dog. I'm not in high school anymore, guys.
However, for Rampage, this situation is different. Rampage claims that Aspinall will be a future legend in MMA. The UFC legend Rampage Jackson joins James Lynch for an interview as they discuss this.
And that'd be the biggest heavyweight fight of the year. Everybody's waiting on that.
How do you rate Aspinall as a heavyweight? Some people feel like he hasn't fought the opposition, but I mean, I look at a guy that's got knockout power, he's got jiu-jitsu, he looks pretty complete. Like, how do you think he would have done against some of the greats back in the day? I think he would have done quite well.
I agree with you. I think Tom Aspinall is a great champion, is a great fighter. I think that he's going to be a future legend.
While acknowledging John Jones' enormous talent and standing as arguably the best fighter of all time, George St. Pierre has also spoken out against the influence of age on fighters. He believes that while Jones remains a strong fighter, the passage of time and the rise of younger, hungrier challengers, such as Tom Aspinall, cannot be overlooked.
You know, it's probably the best fighter that ever lives. You know, talk about if I have to choose someone in his prime that I put in the Coliseum hand to hand, I think I would be John Jones. You know, it's hard to deny that. However, nobody beats time, and Tom Aspinall is on a hell of a run now. So it's to see how they get a match. You know?
St. Pierre has also claimed that nobody beats time, implying that the natural deterioration of a fighter's physical talents over time is an important issue to consider, even when dealing with a warrior like Jones. He further highlighted Tom Aspinall's successful run and the possibility of him challenging Jones, emphasizing the importance of newer, eager fighters on the competitive scene. St. Pierre also acknowledges that Jones's decision to fight or not fight Aspinall is ultimately his own, and it depends on whether he still has the desire and is willing to accept the necessary financial compensation.
It's hard to say. It's hard to say. As a fan, I want to see this fight. I would like to see this fight, but I think Tom is very hungry, and it's up to John to see if he still wants to do this and if the UFC can compensate him good, because I think he deserves it. So it's going to be a hell of a fight.
For Colby Covington, it's different. Colby Covington has never spoken positively of his former college roommate John Jones, and that has not changed. No matter what Jones has accomplished in the past, Covington believes he's currently dodging the most difficult problems in his career and ended up facing Stipe, a man past his prime.
Dude, John Jones is an absolute fucking disgrace to this earth. He's a fucking joke. I mean, yeah, you beat Stipe. Respect to Stipe first off, because he's a first responder and you know, he puts his life on the line for the people and for his community. So shout out to Stipe. He's, you know, the greatest heavyweight of all time.
On the other side, Aspinall is a man in his prime who appears unwilling to sit on the sidelines, while Jones shows no signs of improvement either way. Jones versus Aspinall would undoubtedly be the year's largest pay-per-view show, and the UFC would no doubt be delighted to reach an agreement. The heavyweight champion is in a strong negotiation position, but there must be an agreement quickly, or Aspinall will just shift his focus elsewhere.